Football Tribe UG channel. Robert Kesakos is your usual suspect. Welcome back to yet another live broadcast on your favorite football updates channel. It's a pleasure to be back with you on this beautiful Thursday night / evening. Yes, we have been absent for our last two broadcasts. That's for Wednesday night and Thursday morning because of power challenges. That's why I keep saying, provided factors are kept constant, we always show up. But unfortunately, these were matters beyond my own control. When it comes to power, there's nothing I can do about that. I don't have a backup power source, but I'm glad that we are back here with you. And I do hope you will enjoy tonight's podcast. Of course, we'll be talking about the latest from the world of football, while we will be following up on the events from that World Cup qualifier game between Italy and Ireland. That game has already started and close on to an hour that has been played thus far in that game. But also, we won't just follow up on that game. We'll be following up on the results from the other games, but later on, I think in the next couple of minutes, I'll also be having my attention drawn to that international friendly game between France and Brazil. So really, I wish to say thank you so much to all our new subscribers, those of you that have recently joined the Football Tribe UG community. Thank you so much. I don't know if our feature is active yet, because we have a new feature on the channel. And it's it's a membership. You can activate that. We've added on the super fans and things like that. I think I should put up a poll question. Do you think Italy will qualify for the FIFA World Cup 2026? Oh, come on. It's supposed to be a poll question. It's supposed to be a poll question. So it will be either a yes or a no. Hi, Yukesh. Good to have you back on the broadcast. I did miss you for the last two broadcasts. I don't know if you checked in, but like I was saying, I was absent due to power challenges. My power was off, and should it go off during the course of this broadcast, that will essentially mean it will be the end of it. But for those of you that are just joining us, welcome back to the Football Tribe UG channel. Robert Kesakos is my name, and I'm coming to you live from Kampala, Uganda, where it's 2 minutes past the hour of 11 p.m. East African time. I kindly like the broadcast, but also consider subscribing to the channel if it is your first time here. But also, you can respond to our poll question tonight, which seeks to find out, do you think Italy will qualify for the FIFA World Cup 2026? It's either yes or a no, or if you're not sure, you can also let us know in that poll question tonight. Then also, we introduced a membership sort of venture. If you wish to support the channel, you can support the channel with approximately about $2.8 thereabouts, which is the equivalent of 10,000 Uganda shillings. So yeah, you can show us your love and support for this channel if you are willing to part with that small fee. The feature is already there on the channel, and so that's why I keep saying thank you so much for those that have supported us thus far in this channel. Continue doing the same. Do not just end at subscribing. Please like, comment, share, watch, etc. All those things that helps our content to be recommended to other audiences. So the World Cup qualifiers are raging on. Like I said, we are into those sort of final hurdles to find out the other teams that will be joining the World Cup 2026. We know that Turkey earlier on managed to beat up against Romania by 1-0. That game, Kadioglu, the goal scorer in that game, for that sole goal. Then in the other games that are ongoing, Czech Republic are up against Ireland, Denmark are up against North Macedonia, while Italy up against Northern Ireland, Poland are up against Albania, while Slovakia are up against Kosovo. Ukraine, taking on Sweden, and that game, Ukraine is 1-0 behind. Wales are up against Bosnia Herzegovina as we speak. So, but tonight, our attention is on that game between Italy and Ireland. But like I said, I will also be paying attention to the proceedings from the game between Brazil and Italy. That's for as long as I can find a feed to that game. I will be keeping you up to date with whatever scorelines will come from that side. What did we miss to talk about? Plenty of things that we missed talking about that I would have liked to talk to you about between yesterday and today morning. But yeah, I'll keep touching upon them one by one as we go through tonight's games. First of all, Italy, this is the third time, I think, in a row that they're finding themselves into a World Cup playoff. They have missed the last two editions of the FIFA World Cup. In 2018, they got beat by Sweden, who knocked them out, and therefore they did not qualify for that World Cup that was hosted in Russia. Subsequently, they missed out on the World Cup that was played in Qatar because they were beat up against by North Macedonia in the qualifiers, or in the playoffs. So they never made it to that edition. So they are really, really fighting against all the odds to make sure that they do qualify for that game. Now, for that edition. We're talking about four-time champions of the world who have been struggling to get themselves there. When we're talking about a team that in the Euro 2020, that was played in 2021, came out as champions, and yet they still struggled about just with a year later or within the same year to qualify for an edition of the World Cup. And as unfortunate as that sounds, it also speaks to the overall decline of Italian football. It's something that we've spoken about before. In sort of, when you look at the Italian league present day, there's not many players that you die to go and watch. Those sort of players that are quite exceptional talents. It's not to say they're not good talents, because you'll talk about the likes of Kenan Yildiz at Juventus. You'll talk about players like Nico Paz at Como. Maybe if you look at Modric fanatic, you'll go and watch him at AC Milan and things like that. Even Inter Milan have a couple of players. But when you talk about, for example, when you compare today to the days when they had His Excellency Kaka at AC Milan, when they had Clarence Seedorf, when they had Maldini, when they had Andrea Pirlo, at his prime, those are sort of the days we're talking about. We talk about the days of Andrei Shevchenko before he left to join Chelsea. When you look at Juventus, until recently, when they had Cristiano Ronaldo, there's not much to sort of go back to. We used to watch Juventus because you wanted to see the defensive masterclass or discipline of Giorgio Chiellini, of Leonardo Bonucci, and Bazzagli, and things like that. Maybe you wanted to watch Gigi Buffon because he was such a talent of a goalkeeper, really. So there's plenty that attracted you to watch Italian football. Hi, Ali. How are you doing, my brother? Good to have you on the podcast. But present day, when you look around, there's not that many exceptional talents that you sort of look forward to watching on a given match day. For example, when you look at the Spanish La Liga, you want to go and watch Kylian Mbappe, you want to go and watch Vinicius Junior, you want to go and watch an electric youngster in Lamine Yamal. Those kinds of exceptional talents, those kinds of brilliant players. You may enjoy watching Julian Alvarez at Atletico de Madrid. When you go to PSG, when you go to the French League One, there's quite plenty of talents, and particularly around at least a team like PSG, Ousmane Dembele, Kivicha Kvaratskhelia, Bradley Barcola, Desiree Doué, all these youngsters that are really, really brilliant, or literally at the top of their game at the moment. You look at that midfield, you would want to watch a Vitinha, maybe it's Joao Neves. You want to watch an Akraf Hakimi, Nuno Mendes, some of the best two fullbacks that we've seen in recent times. So really, there's something to look forward to now. And we're talking about a league that has not largely been maybe marketed enough, I would want to say. So there's really so many things that you can look to and think to yourself that what's not happening with Italian football, and that sort of drop off has an extension to the Italian national team. I can see Lolo's fall. I'll call you Fall. How are you doing? I'm all right, my brother. Thank you so much for asking. I'm doing all right. How about you? I hope you're doing okay. You say, is that yeah? Yep. Is that what you mean? Intend to mean? Thank you so much for sparing the moment to join us. But you can see that the bit of the downgrade within the Italian league is the extension that we have at the Italian national team. When you look at the Italian national team, for example, where you have players like Nico Barella, Riccardo Carafiori, Bastoni, Federico Di Marco, who has actually been one of the most standout players in the Italian Serie A this season. There's not many of them that you're desperately eager to watch. You know, they are good talents. Sandro Tonali from Newcastle, but how many of those teams, how many of those players are playing at teams that are competing for their respective league titles? You know, and then you look at the Italian national team manager, who is Gennaro Gattuso. I mean, his CV, as far as coaching is concerned, I find it wanting for a person that should be managing the Italian national team. And maybe not all of you may share the same sentiments, but if you ask present day Italian football fans, where would you put Gennaro Gattuso in the pecking order of managers that you have wanted to manage the Italian national team? About 5 years ago, you had Roberto Mancini, the former Manchester City manager, guide Italy to the Euros. Subsequent to that, when he decided to dump the team and go to Saudi Arabia, they looked to Luciano Spalletti, and we said, well, fair enough. He's just won the Scudetto with Napoli. Well and good. Fast forward, he's a gone man. And guess who you have in charge? Gennaro Gattuso. His CV may have quite a number of clubs on it, the likes of Napoli, the likes of AC Milan, the likes of Valencia and Marseille, but you feel that he's not done well enough at those respective clubs to demand your respect that qualifies him to put him at the Italian national team. It begs the question, what were Italy thinking as Brazil snapped up Carlo Ancelotti? He's an Italian. Maybe perhaps there must be an acknowledgement at some point that maybe Italy itself is not producing the best of managers. Maybe, because as we know, countries come to dominate football in different eras or phases. There's a time when Italy produced the best managers. There's a time that France were producing the best managers. Present day, most of the elite managers are from Spain. At least a fair number of them. Look around. You know, look around. Pep Guardiola, Mikel Arteta, Xabi Alonso, Andoni Iraola. It's not a mistake. Look at Luis de la Fuente. You know, it's not to say other countries are not producing good managers, because one will make the argument of Hansi Flick, Julian Nagelsmann. Fair enough. But Vincent Kompany at Bayern Munich is what? It's Benicia. You know? So there must be an acknowledgement that Spanish managers are a bit elite at the moment. I'm not saying that Italy should go and get a Spanish manager. No. If you want to appoint an Italian national team manager, I do not think that you're going to have Gattuso as your first man in charge, as your first line. No. I'd want to think that there is more than that, you know, that you can find somebody better. So, anyways, those are my views on the Italian national team and things like that. So, we'll be going through the starting 11s for these respective fixtures. The game between Brazil and France has already started. France has one of the most exciting forward lines that you're going to find. Kylian Mbappe, Bradley Bakola, Michael Olise, Ousmane Dembele, Ryan Chaki, Rando Kolomwani, Marcus Thuram. I mean, they even spoiled for choice. I was learning today, okay, not learning per se, but I was thinking on it that today, that the likes of Magnus Akleucho, may not even be getting into this team. That's how good a forward they have. It's in the midfield where I find them wanting, even though they have the likes of Chouameni, Kamavinga, but they still have to, find a spot for N'Golo Kante. Look at Adrian Rabiot, who is competing with him for that role. Paul Pogba is nowhere near good enough. He's been at Monaco this season, but it's not worked out ever since he returned from his suspension. Ban from, 1.5 year ban for, abusing substances or for doping, kind of. He's nowhere in that realm. And then injuries have not helped, of course. Injuries have not helped. So you look around France, and then their backline, I find their backline okay, because they do have Dayot Upamecano start at Bayern Munich, Ibrahim Konate start at Liverpool, hasn't had the greatest of seasons. While I speak about the French national team, I even forget there's a Hugo Ekitike that has been brilliant at Liverpool since signing from Eintracht Frankfurt, So, and then I'm still talking about their backline. You have William Saliba, who's not joined the national team because he stayed at Arsenal due to injury. So, France were close to finding the lead against Brazil. That game remains goalless. I can see Brazil have Ederson, Morales, Santana in goal. The likes of Rafinha are on there. I've seen Andre Santos is on there. On the side of France, I've seen Michael Olise. At least I've seen Adrian Rabiot. What gives me courage or encouragement about this Brazil national team is not the plethora of talent or the strength within talent that we have. This time around, my hope is more within the manager, in Carlo Ancelotti, than it is within the talents that the team has, So, anyways, guys, quickly or briefly, I want to bring you up to speed in terms of what both teams have assembled. All teams have assembled. We'll begin off with I think we should start with the friendly game between Brazil and France to bring you up to speed what both teams have in that regard. So, come on. Just a second. Meanwhile, Slovakia and Kosovo is 1-1, while Ireland are leading Czech Republic by 2-1 in that game. Sweden are still 1-0 ahead of Ukraine. So, yeah. Italy coming close to getting the opener through from Matteo Retegui. So yeah, in terms of starting 11s, these are the lineups from Brazil versus France. That friendly game. Brazil have Ederson Morales Santana. They have Frank they have Santos, Pereira, and Bremer. They have Rafinha, Casemiro, Andre Santos, Gabriel Martinelli, Matheus Cunha, and Vinicius Junior leading the lines. Then France have Mike Maignan. They have Ibrahim Konate, Dayot Upamecano, Theo Hernandez, Malo Gusto, Chouameni, Adrian Rabiot, Hugo Ekitike has been played on the flanks, coming off the left wing. Ousmane Dembele, Michael Olise in the 10 position, kinda, or whichever, and then Kylian Mbappe. So that speaks to the sort of talent that France have. On the bench, they have Lucas Chaveria, they have Bryce Samba, Lucas Hernandez, Pierre Kalulu, Eduardo Camavinga, N'Golo Kante, Warren Zaire Emery, Magnus Akleichau, he's, on the bench. Ryan Cheki, Desiree Due, Randall Kolomwani, Marcus Thuram, Maxence Lekwa. This is the Crystal Palace defender that was summoned to replace William Saliba, and then Lucas Digne. On the other side, Brazil have Hugo Soares. Of course, Alson Ramses Becker is absent through injury. They have Bento, a goalkeeper. They have Danilo, Roger Ibanez. They have Bruno Kaikiki. Yes, Danilo, Olviero, Fabinho, Gabriel Sara, Joao Pedro, Enric, who is on loan to Lyon from Real Madrid. They have Luis Enrique. They have Igor Thiago and Ran from AFC Bournemouth. That's how Brazil have set up against France. And those two, how they've assembled themselves. Now, quickly, on the Italian national team, how they assembled themselves against Ireland. Italy have Gianluigi Donnarumma in goal. They have Mancini. They have Bastoni, Alessandro Bastoni, Riccardo Carafiori, Politano, and Di Marco as their wingbacks or fullbacks. Sorry, wingbacks, yes. Nico Barella, Locatelli, and Sandro Tonali. They have Moises Kean and Matteo Retegui, who are leading the lines. On the other side, Ireland have Charles in goal, McNair. They do have Hume from Sunderland. They have Colville. They have Spencer Galbraith. They have another Charles in there. They have Devlin, then Davin, Price, and Donnelly. Those are some of the players that they do have. But Italy on the bench have players like David Fratesi, Federico Gatti, Francesco Esposito, Nicole Pisley, Giacomo Raspadori, Alessandro Baggiono, Spinazzola. Again, you can see that there's a lack of talent on that bench. You can see that there's a lack of talent on that bench, really. You can almost see it. So yeah. So guys, on the bottom, okay, we'll revisit that. So meanwhile, I wish to say thank you so much to all those that have watched our recent video, the one we put out about my best 11 of the Premier League. Those of you that have commented on it, thank you so much for your feedback. I've been engaging with all of you for whatever you had to say. Continue doing the same, and yeah, I'll keep responding. Then okay. Allow me update our headline for tonight. Okay. Northern Ireland in the World Cup qualifiers. So yeah, there's an ongoing debate that has been raging on about where Mo Salah sits in Premier League's greatest of all time in terms of his contributions to the league. I think it is undisputed what he's been able to do there. Of course, you'll get mixed reactions depending on from whom it is coming from. My thoughts and feelings about him won't change. One of the best that we've seen. Of course, according to Yemi Carragher, he ranks 6th amongst Liverpool's greatest players of all time. For him, the likes of Ian Rush, John Barnes, Ken Dalglish, Steven Gerrard, and I think, is it Robbie Fowler, are all ahead of Mo Salah. And I do respect his opinion. I can't speak so much to the eras of of Paul Ince, of John Barnes, and things like that, because I did not watch enough of that beyond the usual, the ordinary clips that you'll pick up on here and there, to pass judgment. But for me, amongst those, of course, Steven Gerrard is up there. Now, it's a bit of a contested debate, but it's only contested in circles of people that may not be necessarily Liverpool fans, but football fans. But when you talk about Liverpool fans, they have that sort of innate love for Steven Gerrard, Captain Fantastic, who helped guide them to the triumph of the UEFA Champions League in 2005, when they had to come from 3 goals down to beat AC Milan on post-match penalties, So, I mean, I understand where that is coming from. I understand where it all comes from. But also, and this reminds me of something that people like to throw around. Usually, when you're talking about players that have had tremendous careers, or that are brilliant players or world-class players, oftentimes they'll quickly ask you, what did he win? When you look at Steven Gerrard, he did not win anything with his country. He won a couple of cup competitions with Liverpool. I think in 2012, they won the League Cup. Was it? Of course, they won the UEFA Champions League. But they never won the Premier League. They came so close in 2014, but missed it, thanks to Stevie G being very unfortunate in that incident, or in that season. He's one that sort of collapsed as Demba Ba squad when they lost to Chelsea by 2-0. So, and I think if there's any stain on his Liverpool career as a player, that moment for him will always hurt. Oh, Moises Kean, they are now matured, about what, 25, coming on to 26. He's played for some really, really big clubs. Juventus, PSG, he's played for Everton, although it did not work out perfectly well for him. He's now currently playing at Fiorentina. Last season, he was their top goal scorer, and he did really, really well. This season, may not be as good as last season, but he's still quite a decent servant. He's still quite a decent servant for that, for that Fiorentina side, Moises Kean. I remember, I think it was Carlo Ancelotti that had trusted to bring him to Everton. This season, he only has, 8 goals and 1 assist, compared to last season when he had 19 and 2 assists. So it's not been, anyway, Fiorentina have been fighting against relegation. They've not had the kind of season they would have had last season, There's a way my feed for the Brazil game is a bit dark and dull, I don't know why. But so far, it's an average game. It's supposed to be a banger of a game. I thought we were going to have attacking football, end-to-end kind of football. But so far, it's been an average game. It's not offered much for goalkeepers. Didier Deschamps will be hanging his boots with the French national team, and that's after the FIFA World Cup. And then Zinedine Zidane will assume the reins of the French national team. There's a cooling break in that game between Brazil and France. They're having their cooling break. But I can say it's been far from convincing, in my opinion. It's been underwhelming. Sometimes I want to, I almost want to place a microphone over those managers as they talk to their players during these cooling breaks to try and hear what they're telling their players, you know. Didier Deschamps, his credentials are not in question. I think the one thing that must be wondering is that they've not won the Euros. Because Portugal won 2016, then 2020 was won by Italy, and then recently we had Spain. And yet during that time, France won the World Cup in 2018. I think they won in 2022, they reached the finals, lost to Argentina. That tells you how well they've been doing. You know? Oh, Alessandro Bastoni is the one who flicked DiMarco's a corner. Could not find the back of the net, but Ireland nearly slept on the job there when it came to defending. Sort of like this blue kit, sort of darkish navy blue kit from Brazil. God willing, I will get my hands on it. God willing, inshallah, maybe. Ederson Morales Santana left Manchester City last summer to go and play in Turkey, I think at Fenerbahce. That's where he plays it straight from now. I think we should find time and sing praise of Michael Olise. 11 goals, 17 assists in the German Bundesliga this season. I think he scored about 3 goals and provided what? 4 assists in the UEFA Champions League. He's one of those less unspoken about players. I feel if they win the German Bundesliga, which they are going to do with Bayern Munich, if Bayern Munich were to win the UEFA Champions League, and then France go on to win the World Cup, or at least reach the finals, he must be or should be in the conversation for the Ballon d'Or. He must be there, really. That's how good he's been. And he's been consistent, by the way. Oh, Matthias Cunha. Is that Cunha or Gabriel Martinelli? Oh, Gabriel Martinelli tried to bend it to the far post, but could not find the targets against Mike Maynard. Mere fact that Gianluigi Donnarumma is wearing the captain's armband is also quite telling. It's one of Italy must try and save itself the embarrassment of missing out on another World Cup. I mean, it's already embarrassing enough that they've not been at the last two. But game has headed into halftime, still goalless, as is the game between Brazil and and France. Is equally still goalless. It's a home fixture for Italy. So yeah. Now, we are also learning that Liverpool could be looking to sign two wingers this summer as they try and find a replacement for Mohamed Salah. It's not going to be easy replacing the Egyptian international, because that was always going to be a tall order. Because, like I said, I think tomorrow we should be releasing you a video on on um, the possible replacements for Mohamed Salah, or players that I think could be the perfect replacements for Mohamed Salah at Liverpool. Whether they can actually go ahead and sign them and get them is one thing, but I certainly do think they have the potential. One of those players is Yan Diomande at RB Leipzig, and I won't be surprised if he's high on their list. And then there's a player at a Sporting CP called Francesco Consecao. Maybe, there's an appreciation for the likes of Michael Olise, but I do not think those Bayern Munich administrators are going to entertain any form of business for Michael Olise. It's quite a piece of talent that they have on their hands. Almost every game, you could say. So they will be looking to sign, two wingers this summer. According to Ben Jacobs, he says on the right, finding a more Salah successor is something that Liverpool have been planning for long before negotiating an exit package, allowing the Egyptian to leave for free. Then a new left winger is also on cards or on the radar, since we all know that Luis Diaz left and they did not have a replacement for that. So it's something that they'll be looking to to do. So oh, meanwhile, France have scored. Oh, that's some really cheeky goal by Kylian Mbappe. Ederson Morales came out for it. Ball was looped over him. France just have a knack for beating Brazil. They just have a knack for beating Brazil. So, I mean, that's a beautiful through pass for Michael Olise. Is it for Michael Olise? But wow. No, looks like it's from Ousmane Dembele. As a defense splitting pass in between the lines. And Kylian Mbappe is such a good finisher that is bound to finish that off. Maybe that will spark this Brazil side into a bit of a fight and into fire. So, anyways, it's 1-0 to France against Brazil, the most successful team in world football with 5 World Cups. Of course, they've not won one since 2002. I don't envision that we will win it this time around in America, but I mean, we ought to play better than we have done in the last 2 editions, where Brazil has stopped at the quarterfinals. In 2018, they got knocked out by Belgium, beaten by 2-1. No, was that 2018? Then beaten, no, I think that was Croatia, 2018, 4-2 on penalties. Then 2022 is when they lose to Belgium, 2-1, quarterfinals. Chouameni on the floor. So yeah, but Liverpool, they'll face some competition if they want to find the replacement for Mohamed Salah. There's not many good left-footed, wingers out there that are going to be on the markets. You can't think Liverpool. You're allowed to think about Lamine Yamal, but you're not going to get him. He's not going to leave Barca. Rarely do players leave Barcelona to join these other big clubs, really, especially Spanish players, or Spanish-speaking players. Rarely. Matthias Cunha as overly ambiguous. That was an ambiguous attempt. So, for a player like Yan Diomande, who, by the way, RB Leipzig just signed last summer, he was playing where? I'm trying to remember. But they do value him at about 100 million euros for RB Leipzig, which is quite really very, very high for a player that they've barely had for 2 years, let alone a year. So then PSG, they know that the world is targeting Bradley Barcola, so they're working to extend his contract and no more to entertain offers for Bradley Barcola. Same applies for the 25-year-old Georgian international in Kivica Kvaratskhelia, who is the captain for the Georgian national team, who has also been linked with the move to Arsenal. So then they do have an appreciation for Anthony Gordon, but Anthony Gordon will be playing more on the left than he does on the right. So we'll have to wait and see. But they need, then they could be looking to find somebody to push Florian Wirtz, and there's an appreciation of Morgan Rogers from Aston Villa. Whoever is to buy Morgan Rogers out of Aston Villa is going to have to spend quite a bit. I don't think it will be anywhere south over 75 million pounds, even though I find that in itself an exaggeration. But given how exaggerated English transfer fees are, I would typically understand if it were to come to that, Oh, Ibrahim Konate just dropped the ball. Start Konate or Upamecano. Oh, what is Casemiro raging on about? He is the captain of the team. He just went hard in there on the referee. I think he was claiming there was a foul on Danilo. Was it? He was at it with Rafinha. He's very lucky it is a friendly. He needs to calm himself down. Not that he can't get a red card in a friendly, but it's just really, really gone hard there on the referee. He was taking no prisoners. He did quite, show his dissatisfaction with the referees, with the referee's judgment call on there. Oh, very interesting. Come on. Liverpool are so optimistic. They just got Carragher to name his top 10. Well, you have to capitalize on every moment. I can't summarize it up for you. He's top 10, but he started with Ian Gallagher, something like that. And then he goes with Kevin Keegan. But I told you who composed his top 5 before he gets to Mohamed Salah at least, So yeah, there's a corner kick. Really? Ederson Morales Santana kept 19 clean sheets in the 2020-2021 Premier League season. And he kept 16 in the season prior to that. Meanwhile, Arsene Ramsey-Becker and Ederson kept 20 clean sheets in the 2021-2022 Premier League season. David De Gea Quintana in 2023-2024, in 2022-2023 had 17 clean sheets. Then Raya, 2023-2024 had 16. As we speak, he has 15. So it looks like he's bound to either equal that record of 16 or even better it with 7 games left to play. I mean, something to say about Spanish goalkeepers and the Brazilian goalkeepers. So yeah, anyways, it is what it is. It is what it is. So, okay, let's see if those games are about to return from halftime. Should be. getting underway from halftime. But yeah, Ireland still leading 2-1 against Czech Republic at halftime. Then Albania are 1-0 up against Poland, while Slovakia and Kosovo, that game is 2-2. Victor Gyökeres's goal against Ukraine is still the difference between those sides. Remember, Sweden are under the charges of Graham Potter, while Wales and Bosnia is still goalless. Those majority of those games have returned for the second half, and as has the Italy game. So stand to be corrected. Coach Marcello Lippi was the one that guided Italy to the triumph of the 2006 World Cup. At the time, Gennaro Gattuso was still a player. So really, by the way, Vinicius Junior has yet to do anything in that game between Brazil and France. He's been chasing shadows. He's been chasing shadows in there. I almost forget he's even in there. Hernandez being found culpable of fouling, was it Danilo? Why can't teams move the ball a little quicker? Sometimes it is frustrating for me, or like it's a bit of pacey football, and to see players running up and down, up and down. Beautiful pass. Ah, Brazil's game is destined for halftime in just a bit. But it's still 1-0 in favor of France. Oh, that's a huge risk for Gianluigi Donnarumma. Politano, Manuel Locatelli was shot 5. Oh, Fury is one of those players that really wants to venture forward, and yet he's a centre back. Reminds me of a Sergio Ramos, only that he is left footed. Oh, Yeah, the game between Brazil and France has headed into halftime with France leading by a goal to nil. So, anyways, those Brazil players are still exhibiting, showing their dissatisfaction or frustration with the referee. Seem to be making a case for themselves that he wasn't fair. I don't know. Meanwhile, you have a whole host of other international friendlies that have been on cards today, but it's this one that counts more than not. Uh, it's something I'm trying to find out, but where that game is being played. Oh, come on. It's far out. It's a long way out. It's a long way out. Can only hope. Bagamo. For those of you that are just joining us, welcome back to the Football Tribe UG channel. Robert Kesakos is my name. Hope you're doing okay. We are following events from the game between Italy and Northern Ireland. It's in the second half, while also keeping tabs on the international friendly game between Brazil and France, which France are leading by a goal to nil at halftime. That goal by Kylian Mbappe, with Ousmane Dembele providing the assist. Uh-oh. Jesus Christ. What kind of poor defending is that? But what kind of poor run is that, Rotegi? This is what I was saying. He gets to the ball fast, and he has a heavy touch to the ball. That bit of a heavy touch gave him no chance. Oh, Moises Kean just put the Ireland goalkeeper to the test, forcing him into a brilliant save. That's the kind of Italy we want to see. Creating chances, really defending well. Because it's a home game for Italy. Vast fixture will be on next week. Oh, it's a goal for Italy. Italy are leading by goal to nil. It's been a long time coming. Sandro Tonali is the one that opens the account. It's the one that punishes Northern Ireland. Oh, brilliant strike. Body is headed. It falls in the best place for Sandro Tonali. On the half volley, it goes for it. Bang! Into the bottom corner. It's been really coming for the Italians. And Gattuso celebrates. With Bonucci, what's his name? The former Juventus goalkeeper, Gigi Buffon, was somewhere there in the stands, did celebrate with him. Michael O'Neill, in charge of Northern Ireland, reminds me of Gary O'Neill. Recently was an interim at Celtic. My best memory of him was with Aston Villa. Had, I think, a job with Ireland. Is it Ireland or Wales? One of those two countries. Italy want it so bad that they nearly got it caught up. They nearly got caught up. They know they want that second goal. They know the importance of that second goal. It was a tactical foul by Bastoni. You didn't want to give up. Hume plays for Sunderland. Oh. Arsenal fans will be holding their mouths that Carafiori can't stay fit. You know, missing much. The Republic of Ireland trying to turn the heat up. Meanwhile, Denmark a 3-0 up against North Macedonia. Kosovo have the third against Slovakia, so it is 3-2. While Sweden have found the back of the net again against Ukraine, so it's 2-0. While Wales are leading Bosnia-Herzegovina by a goal to nil. It's Victor Gyökeres that is scored yet again to give Sweden the second. The Arsenal striker is banging in the goals. There's many games. Uh-oh. Quite the bailout that Italy needed. We're waiting for the resumption of the game between Brazil and France for the second half. Italy are looking to make amends. Francesco Esposito be coming on for Italy. L'équipe. Gennaro Gattuso is already feeling the pressure. You cannot not feel it. You cannot not feel it, especially when you want to take your country back to the World Cup. Cannot not feel it. Meanwhile, the second half of the game between Brazil and France is getting underway. Mbappe wearing the captain's armband. Oof. Moises Kean forcing the Ireland goalkeeper into another save. Went through on both occasions, he's gone for power. But the goalkeeper has been up to the task. Michael Olise may as well become his PR guy. It's quite the talent. Mike Maynard having a chat with Adran Rabiot. Brazil national team have delayed inside the dressing room. Joao Pedro is on the bench. And so is Enrique. Neymar was not summoned. Was speaking about him today, saying his talent is without question, but his fitness must be the key issue that is keeping him out of any potential of representing his national team at the moment. Otherwise, it's nothing that can explain it. It's nothing that can explain it. So, anyways, yeah, Manchester United are going to be looking to overhaul their midfield in the summer. Dimarco with a very poor, heavy, fast touch. Raymond Kangumba says, hi, Ed Howe sacked from Newcastle United and Enzo Maresca appointed as manager. I mean, there'll be no hiding because unfortunately for Ed Howe, after 4.5 years in charge, with the sort of investment that they've managed to put in him, he does not have one too many excuses for himself. Over the summer, he spent about close on to what 120 something million pounds on two players. Okay, 125 maybe million euros. Sorry, not pounds, on Johan Wissa and Nick Votmada, and yet today when he has them fully fit, and available, he can barely start any of them. He would rather go with William Osula or Anthony Gordon as the first nine. I mean, make it make sense. Someone from within the Bayern Munich ranks was saying it's nowhere, there's no world where Nick Voltmada would ever be valued in that realm. They tried to sign him, they were not willing to cough anything in the region of 65 million euros. Ah, Danilo here wasting chances. The one thing I like about Moises Kean is he's physically imposing and very relentless, very energetic. He has the eye for goal. It may not always happen for him, but he's capable of coming up with a standout moment. Yep. So, I was talking about Manchester United and the fact that they have to overhaul the midfield. First of all, where do you think Salah will go? That is Asha Shakul. Okay, before I get into the Manchester United conversation, Mo Salah, chances are he goes to the Saudi Pro League. If it's about money, he'll go to the Saudi Pro League. If he still wants to play football within Europe, he will not be short of options, whether from Italy, whether from the Premier League itself, from even France, clubs in France. I don't think he will be short of that. He will have the options. Of course, clubs from the Major League Soccer will always be circling around the area to see if they can sort of get him. But it will depend on where his priorities lie. Is it the money? Is it a combination of money and competitive football? Because the Premier League can still give him that. That's if in Liverpool allowing him live for free, he is allowed to join a Premier League club. I was speaking about this the other day, and I said, if he is being allowed to live for free, it could be a prerequisite that he cannot join any other club in the Premier League. And I do not know whether those circumstances are to that effect or it's not the case. But I was saying still yesterday or the other day that I would be of the preference that he stays in the Premier League. Not at one of those big clubs, but at least at a mid-table team, kind of slightly outside the top four, the likes of Aston Villa, Newcastle, those kinds of teams. Tottenham Hotspurs, of course, Tottenham Hotspurs are nowhere near being a mid-table team. If this season and last season are anything to go by, but I mean, I would still want to watch him play in the Premier League. Saying if we can't see present day that Danny Welbeck, who is 35 years of age, is this season has scored the highest number of goals he's ever scored in a Premier League season with 12. Why not? What makes us think that Mohamed Salah can no longer hack it in the Premier League? I still think he has the physique for it, the body and the legs to run, to make things happen. You just need to make him your sort of the kind of player that you play your game around, and he'll be back to being Salah again, I think. But yeah, Saudi Pro League clubs are already circling. They're willing to. I saw reports that in the region of their willingness to give him up to 50 million euros per year to to join them. So coming from where I sit, I usually say to African players, if when it comes to the money, just go make that money. Just go make that money. God knows the continent needs it. Um, so go make the money. Even for a Mo Salah who's already made quite enough for himself, can never have more than enough for the people within your ranks, whether be with it, whether it be in your inner circle of a family, the wider side of the family, or friends and things like that. You know, they're still disappointing me. Ibrahim Konate, okay, Edha sacked. Raymond is hell bent on one thing. He wants Eddie Howe out. Spoke about Eddie Howe. So back to Manchester United, I was saying they're going to have a midfield overhaul. And according to Ben Jacobs of Gimme Sport and Talk Sport, he says Manchester United could see as many as 5 new first team players walking. In other words, you're looking at possibly a centre back because the injuries of Lisandro Martinez are not helping. Lenny Yoro seems to be a bit below par. Harry Maguire is more or less becoming a squad player. Matas Delita spent majority of this season out through injury. Meanwhile, there is a free kick at the edge of the area for Brazil that Upamecano, I think, being accused of bringing Danilo down. So, and then for me, they're going to need at least 2 central midfielders, and in fact, I'd go ahead and say 3. And the reason as why they need 3 is Casemiro is leaving, so you need a direct replacement for Casemiro. Manuel Ugarte does not feel that. I don't think he will hack it at Manchester United, so you need to let go of him and find somebody, and then you need a number 8 to help Kobe Maino. So that's 3. Those are the 3 midfielders, and then in the forward areas, it could be that they need to find somebody. Oh, there's a possible red card review for denying a goal scoring opportunity against that Upamecano. The referee has been sent to the monitor. So the incident is still under review in that game between Brazil and France. We could have that Upamecano sent off. Was initially given a yellow card, could be upgraded to a red card. Of course, it's a friendly. Even if they were close, it wouldn't match. The yellow card is dismissed, and it's a straight red card. He's judged to be the last man and therefore denies a clear goal scoring opportunity. Didier Deschamps cannot believe it, and so do. Oh, it's a goal. Moises Kean with the second for Italy. Beautiful, beautiful goal. It's 2-0. Looks like France are going to be forced into making a substitution, or else they will have to play with the back three of Ibrahim Konate, Theo Hernandez. Oh, ball goes off the base of the upright and into the corner. Kwame says, when does Ghana have a match? Ghana, not particularly privy, if I'm being honest. I was looking at the international friendlies, and I do not remember seeing them in action. Among the countries that I saw were in action, I think were the likes of DRC Congo. Sorry, I need to check from on yesterday's list of fixtures. But hi, Kwame, thanks for joining us. Yeah, I saw DRC Congo were up against Bermuda. I think Tanzania had a game against Liechtenstein. And then Vietnam was against Bangladesh. I've not seen Ghana. I'm not really privy to what Ghana have coming up for them, really. Especially, and the reason for that is majority of those games are international friendlies, and we know that international friendlies are not the kind of thing that fans are oftentimes enthusiastic about, really, especially on this part of the continent. With the African World Cup qualifiers literally concluded, with DRC Congo waiting to play whoever they will get in the intercontinental finals, we just have to hang on. In fact, I don't know. Meanwhile, DRC Congo beat up against Bermuda by 2 goals to 0. Oh, guys, let's see, how is our poll doing? What a majority of you saying? Let's see. I'm trying to end poll results. You know, according to the poll results, 8 votes cast. 50% of you say you're not. You say no, Italy won't qualify. That's 4 votes. While the other 2 votes, I think 3 votes went to yes, and 1 vote for not sure. That's how the poll has been thus far on that question that we put out, wondering, do you think Italy will qualify for the World Cup? Remember, they have missed out on 2 earlier occasions. That's in 2018 and in 2018 and 2022. Okay. Oh, anyway, it wasn't a penalty. Sandro Tonali, the goal scorer for Italy's first goal, did provide the assist for Moises Kean to get the second of the night. Oh, We are coming closer to the end of that game between Italy and Northern Ireland. 85 minutes played. Meanwhile, France have brought on Maxence Lecoix. Need to find out who has been withdrawn for Maxence Lecoix to come on. Ousmane Dembele was sacrificed while Chouameni was withdrawn for N'Golo Kante. Rafinha has paved the way for Luis Enrique. So far, so good. So far, so good. Tomorrow, there'll be more games to come for as far as international club friendlies go. Then in the World Cup qualifiers playoff tournament, Bolivia against Suriname, North Macedonia against Jamaica, then tomorrow, there's England versus Uruguay, international friendly. Netherlands will play Norway. Switzerland will take on Germany, while Serbia will be up against Spain. Those games kick off at 10:45 p.m., apart from the Spain game that will come at 11 p.m. Let's see if Ghana have a game to play. Yes, Ghana play Austria tomorrow at 8 p.m. Kwame, Ghana play Austria tomorrow at 8 p.m. in an international friendly, so do not miss that. Egypt will be playing Saudi Arabia. Rwanda will play Grenada. Algeria against Guatemala. Morocco take on Ecuador. Greece against Paraguay. Panama against South Africa. Honduras against Montenegro. Jordan and Costa Rica. Kenya play Estonia. Saint Lucia play Azerbaijan. Uzbekistan against Gabon. Benin against Liberia. Nigeria against Iran. Indonesia against Saint Kitts and Nevis. So you have all those international friendlies. Then the British Virgin Islands will play the Cayman Islands. So there's a good number of those. But I think my interest will go to perhaps Monday. Then on Monday, Germany will play Ivory Coast. Oh, sorry. That game against Ivory Coast was cancelled. They will be playing Ghana instead. Then on Tuesday, oh, guys, so this is not a double header. It's not a double header. Whoever goes through here will have another, this is the second round of the UEFA qualifiers. So whoever goes through between, for example, Denmark and North Macedonia will take on Czech versus Ireland. Whoever goes through. Kosovo will take on Turkey. Kosovo, Slovakia will take on Turkey. Ukraine or Sweden will take on Poland or Albania. Then Italy will be taking on either Wales or Bosnia-Herzegovina. Italy, only a couple of minutes to going through. To be fair, Italy have been the better side. Oh, that's a long, good pass. Can Di Marco find it? Couldn't keep it in. I don't know why. He looks out of his depth, Kinaro Gattuso. So yeah, next week will be this finding out who goes through amongst those countries. I'll be next week on Tuesday. To be honest, Gianluigi Donnarumma has hardly had much to do. Italy have been the better sides. Manuel Locatelli and Sandro Tonali orchestrating things in midfield, while Moises Kean was often visible on the other side. Ever since he came on, Esposito has not gotten on the ball that much. Even I almost thought that was a full-time whistle. Looks like the referee overblew that one. As looking at the clock, I'm like, there's still a few seconds to go on those 3 minutes of added time. What's the rush? And at long last, the final whistle has come. Italy are through, and they have next, they'll be up against, I think, Kosovo, because Kosovo are leading against Kosovo are leading 4-3 against Slovakia. By the end of the night, we will have found out who will be playing who on Tuesday nights. The game between Wales and Bosnia-Herzegovina is still 1-1. Oh, meanwhile, France have scored against Brazil. A 10-man France is leading by 2-0. What is wrong with my Brazil? Kylian Mbappe just bullied somebody off the ball. Need it have to be more embarrassing? Sweden, on course, they're leading 3-1 against Ukraine. Poland 2-1 up against Albania, while Wales and Bosnia, game is still 1-1. It's another water. Is that a water break, cooling break, or something? Ibrahim Konate taking out Joao Pedro like he doesn't want him to feature against Manchester City when they return from the international break. Hi, Milton. Are you live, bro? Yes, I'm live. I don't know why. Sometimes people get confused when I premiere a video to think that I'm live. Guys, when you see premiering, it means it's a recorded episode that is coming out. And when you see live, it means I'm coming to you live. As we speak, it's 41 minutes past the hour of midnight in Kampala, Uganda, and Brazil are 2-0 down against the 10-man France in that game. So we are following up on events from that. Earlier on, we're also watching the game between Italy and Northern Ireland, which Italy have won by 2-0, thanks to Sandro Tonali and Moises Kean, the goal scorers in that one. Brazil have looked toothless. Hugo Ekitike scored a 65th minute goal to make it 2-0 for France, with Michael Olise providing the assist, while Ousmane Dembele had provided the assist for Kylian Mbappe's first half goal. Since then, some of those players have been swapped out. Ousmane Dembele was withdrawn to pave way for Maxence Lekwa, who came in for a defender to sort of fill the void left by Dayot Upamecano. Mike Collison has the body language of a kid playing football as though he doesn't care. And yet he does a great deal. He's very serious about this business. Small body. Small body, big brains. That's how I describe him. Hello, Milton. How are you? I hope you've had a wonderful day. Oh. Brazil side is very, very unconvincing. I pity we who have high hopes in Brazil. If this is how they're going to play at the World Cup, we may have it rough. We may have it rough. Oh, meanwhile, Czech Republic and Ireland seem to have headed into extra time, as will be Wales against Bosnia, Poland against Albania. Poland just needs to see out that 2-1 lead that they do hold. But so far, so remember, Italy is waiting whoever advances between Wales and Bosnia Herzegovina. Ukraine will be up against, Sweden will be up against whoever comes through between Poland and Albania, which I believe chances are it's going to be Poland. So it will be Sweden versus Poland. Kosovo have set themselves a date with Turkey, while Denmark are waiting for whoever comes through between Ireland and Czechia or Czech Republic. Yeah, Poland have managed to see it through, winning that one 2-1. Then in the World Cup playoff tournament, you have Bolivia versus Suriname. Then New Caledonian versus Jamaica. Carlo Ancelotti must be looking at those boys and thinking to myself, you've got to be more serious than this. It's not looking pretty. What are these minor teams? Oh, I am Milton Obote. Do you intend to say former Ugandan prime minister, executive prime minister, and subsequently president, Apollo Milton Obote? When you say what are these minor teams? They're not minor teams. These are the World Cup qualifiers. Still, it's the second round of the World Cup qualifiers for UEFA or Europe. And then you do have the playoff tournament for the World Cup qualifiers. Remember, there are certain groups that are not yet complete, missing those teams that have to go through this qualification sieve. I don't know what Vinicius Jr. is still doing on the pitch. He struggled throughout this game. Oh, it's a goal. At long last, Brazil pull one back. It's literally hammered in there. So it's 2-1 for Brazil. We still have about 10 minutes left to play. Yeah, it's not offside. Clear goal. It's not two ways about that. Adrian Rabiot is on the floor, pleading his case out. Feels he's been more or less targeted. Don Carlo Ancelotti, Brazil might force him to cut weight unwillingly. Oh, that's a blatant foul. Took somebody out. It's a friendly match. Be a gentleman. You can't be slashing people out of the game. Mhm. Mm. Oh, been here for almost 2 hours. Can see. But anyways, we did miss the morning show. We missed yesterday's show at night due to power challenges. So we may as well see it through. We may as well see it through. Uh, I'm looking at uh, if Brazil are looking to break our hearts, they may as well tell us. If you have Alvaro Arbeloa watching this, you must be pleading your case hard, saying, how dare you play Vinicius Jr. for 90 minutes in a friendly? Swap them out. Corner kick. Brazil. How often do they score from corners? But Casemiro nearly headed it in. It's a very good header of the ball. Marquinhos. It's Brazilians that can hardly dribble past anyone. Joao Pedro. Gabriel Sala is being introduced. Plies his trade in Turkey at Galatasaray. Is replaced Casemiro. Casemiro. Only a few minutes away from winding this one down, and then we'll call it a night. Like I said, our focus was only on 2 games. But yeah, tomorrow, England versus Uruguay, Netherlands versus Norway, Switzerland against Germany. I think England and Uruguay will be a game to watch. I know for a fact that the Uruguay national team have been training at Arsenal's Soba Royalty training grounds. Switzerland against Germany, always a good game to watch. Netherlands against Norway, good game to watch. Germany out there in action. Sorry. Yeah, German, Switzerland. I think I should be looking to watch that one. Yeah, apologies on the internet glitch there briefly. Come on. We'll be hoping for better tomorrow. So you're not missing much. France are still leading by 2-1. We are coming to almost the tail end of that game. 87 minutes played with Brazil still searching for that equalizer against a 10-man France who have been without. They had that Upamecano sent off, having judged to have denied a goal scoring opportunity. I think it was against Danilo. Ancelotti always munching on his chewing gum to keep him company. Marcelo Bielsa used to pace the area of the touchline, doctor's orders. For those of you that remember him at Bilbao, then at Leeds, he used to have his special seat out there. Yep. Hmm. Oh, you boy, what are you doing? Like Olise doing Olise things. Small body, big brains. Adrian Rabiot still has the running legs across 90 minutes. Ball floated in by Gabriel Sara. France can't clear, eventually get rid of it from a dangerous area. Uh-oh. Somebody slept on the job there. Uh, Brazil's goal scorer, Bremer, was close to making it 2-2, but he didn't get a good smack on that ball as it came across. Some of these Brazilians are. Somebody said they're Brazilians from the border. uh, uh, you know, Michael is withdrawn for Pierre Kalulu. Then Magnus Akleocho brought on. Pierre Kalulu brought on for Malo Gusto, while Magnus Akleocho came on for Michael Olise. Akleocho does play for Monaco. I think he has 6 goals and a couple of assists in the French League One thus far. Let's see how many minutes will be added on. 7 minutes of added time. 3 of those are almost gone. Can Brazil find the equalizer? Here they come. Ah, showing you those goals again in the first half from Kylian Mbappe. Looping that ball over Ederson Morales Santana. Didier Deschamps is not short of the emotions of a man commanding his team in through a major tournament. Mhm. The mere fact that when Casemiro went out, the armband was handed to Vinicius Jr. is also quite telling about the leadership in that team. Oh, France just been booked for time wasting. Can you imagine? In a friendly, time wasting. Brazil, here they come again. Can they find a way through? An equalizer wouldn't surely hurt, but it doesn't look like they're going to get it. Not with the way they are playing. Uh-oh. mm. Vinicius Jr. tried to cross it, but could not find the way through. We're left with about 1 minute out of those 7 added minutes. Bremer nearly made it 2-2 as an attempt from distance. Vinicius Jr. could not connect with it at the end of it. We've entered the eighth minute of stoppage time. The referee might as well end it. Igor Thiago also missed connecting with it. France, here they come. Aklecho. He's fumbled it. Nice recovery. Full-time score, Brazil 1, France 2. Guys, allow me wish you a blessed night. It's been a pleasure doing this with you. Milton, Kwame, Raymond, Lolo's Fall, Yukesh, and every single one of you that managed to catch tonight's podcast. Until tomorrow morning, stay blessed. Bye-bye for now.